Hello, and thanks for joining us on Consumer Confidential. I'm Vicky Nguyen. Learn how to sell your home quicker at asking price, if not higher, reduce your energy bill, and why you need to think twice about giving out your email. It's all coming your way. But first, a warning about a potential danger for drivers and pedestrians. Ultra-bright headlights that can lead to accidents, and what you need to do now to stay safe on the road.
Social media is filled with photos and videos of blinding headlights.
I can't even see. I'm like literally getting blinded from the guy's headlights behind me.
Watch these close calls apparently caused by the glare. This driver barely misses that pedestrian. Another near collision with an oncoming car. And this crash into a downed tree.
The light does look much brighter.
John Bolo is a scientist who studies lighting for the Mount Sinai School of Medicine's Light and Health Research Center. He says older headlights use halogen bulbs, which have a softer orange color, but newer ones are bluish white.
You're creating a lot of glare for those other drivers.
And a potentially dangerous situation.
That's right.
Bola showed us the difference firsthand with an older halogen headlamp and a newer LED, both emitting the same amount of light.
I'm going to look at the warm light just to kind of get a sense. Okay, yeah, it's bright. Let me see what the LED light does. Oh, this one for sure. Much, much brighter. It hurts my eyes, and actually, I'm still seeing the spots from it. Why is it that they appear brighter?
Well, our eyes are more sensitive to blue light.
He says the issue is magnified when a headlight is out of alignment, a common problem. An NBC News analysis found only 10 states require annual inspections that check to see that headlights are aligned correctly, pointing straight out and down. Bola shifts an LED headlight out of alignment by just a few degrees to show me what can happen on the road. Wow, so the LEDs are already quite bright, but when they're tilted up, you can't see anything else. This would be very dangerous if I were driving. He says another contributing factor, large trucks and SUVs, which made up 75% of all vehicle sales last year. Those taller vehicles mean headlights are higher and more likely to shine directly into the eyes of a driver in a smaller, lower vehicle.
I couldn't see for 5 to 10 seconds.
Aaron Madrid totaled his Chevy Sonic in November when he says an oncoming pickup truck blinded him.
By the time I was able to see, I had swerved into incoming traffic, and then I ended up in a tree.
Fortunately, he wasn't hurt.
It just felt like lights out.
But Ashanti Collins wasn't so lucky. She says in May 2021, the lights from an oncoming vehicle led to her crash.
Was it just totally blinding?
Yes, I couldn't see anything. That was the only thing I seen before I woke up on the side of the road in my car.
She had to be airlifted to a hospital to treat a broken arm and dislocated wrist.
When you looked at the pictures of your car, did you think it was a miracle that you survived that crash?
Yes, definitely. Looking at the car, it was just insane.
Experts and automakers agree the primary solution to this glaring problem is something called adaptive headlight technology. Right now, it's only available on test vehicles here in the U.S., but I'm going to show you how it works. I'm here in Virginia at the Audi U.S. headquarters to show you what the future of driving at night might look like.
Audi's head of product management, Philip Brabeck.
What do these lights do?
Well, instead of thinking of a static light like a low beam and a high beam, think of it as a projector. There's 1.3 million micro mirrors in each headlight that create this image.
And it's not blinding other people.
And it's not blinding other people.
I get behind the wheel to see for myself.
Wow, I can see everything. This experience of driving at night is completely different and so much better. I feel like a safer driver.
Notice these arrows on the pavement.
It's helping you stay within the lanes.
As I pull onto the highway, the lights highlight my lane without affecting other drivers.
Okay, so this
So
car
now he got in
front of me.
And notice how it's got a shadow on him now.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
But the real light show takes place on this dark, windy road.
It almost feels like magic because of the amount of light that is being cast all over. I'm not used to seeing that as a driver.
I switch cars so I can see what it's like to drive toward the test car with adaptive headlights.
His high beams are on.
Yes.
But they're
we
not a
did
problem for me.
Yep.
Whereas this car behind him with the LEDs is quite bright.
Yes.
It's remarkable to see the difference. Do you think this technology is life-saving?
Absolutely.
Adaptive headlights have been in use in Europe and several other countries for about a decade now. But automakers and safety experts here say red tape in the United States means it could be years before we see this technology allowed on cars here. So in the meantime, you want to drive slowly at night. Look toward the right-hand edge of the road to avoid glaring lights. And if you suspect your headlights are out of alignment, you can actually check to see if one light is higher than the other when you pull into your garage or point your car towards a wall. Even an inch or two can mean a major misalignment 100 feet down the road. And don't forget to check with your mechanic. They should be able to easily realign your headlights. It's not just road safety that's become a hot topic. Retailers have also started tightening their refund policies and charging additional fees. This is all according to the National Retail Federation. Americans returned $816 billion worth of merchandise in 2022. So how do we avoid those extra fees? Here's how you can make your returns easier and cheaper.
So, Vicky, it used to be when you bought something online, you didn't like it, it was a simple, easy return. But is that not the case so much anymore?
Things are definitely changing, Hoda. Once upon a time, when we were nervous about going online to buy something, what is this, the internet shopping? Retailers were like, look, we're going to make it so easy for you. We're going to ship it to you for free. You can return it to us for no fee. It'll be just like going to a brick and mortar. Fast forward 15, 20 years, and now we are doing that gangbusters. But it's not free to the retailer when you process a return. It's anywhere from $15 to $20 minimum. And we talk about 16.5% of all online purchases go back. And there's a real cost. And now retailers are trying to claw that back. A recent survey by GoTRG shows 60% of retailers are reconfiguring their return policies in one way or another.
It did almost feel like they did want you to like go try it on at home, send it back, no problem. Well, times they are a-changing. So what are some of the new rules and pitfalls we should work out?
Okay,
look for?
PBP. It's
not
a thing.
You're making up
it's
another
not a
one.
thing. I admit to you, I am making this up. Pause before purchasing.
Yes.
The less you buy, the less you're going to return. This is a good time, though, to check your favorite retailer's return policies, because odds are something may have changed. And then when you get that item, if you're not positive you want it, make sure you keep it in original packaging. Try it on without makeup or perfume on, because if you return it, it needs to be in sellable condition. So much of these returns ends up in a landfill, so it's wasteful. Even if you get your money back, it's very wasteful, and there's a cost to the environment, all that shipping, that carbon footprint of sending you something, you boxing it up, sending it back. So those are things you need to keep in mind. And if you go to return in-store, always bring your ID and your original form of payment. That just helps to expedite the return.
Someone said wait 1 week. If you're going to buy something online that's not urgent.
Yes.
If you look back in your little basket and it's a week later and it's still there and you need it, then get it.
Sometimes you get a discount too.
Yes, Greg, sometimes you get a coupon in the email.
I listen to you. So let's look at the policies of some of the country's largest stores.
Okay, let's start with Target. Target allows you 90 days to return almost anything except for electronics. Then it's 30 days. But if you have a Target Red Card, you have up to 120 days to return. Now, Amazon is the interesting one. It's always been 30 days, free returns, as easy as possible. But you do want to pay attention, because there are so many third-party sellers on Amazon, and sometimes their return policies are different. Also, they're starting to implement, according to the information, a $1 return fee. So if you go to UPS to return something to Amazon, but there's a Kohl's or a Whole Foods that's closer to you, they will charge you $1 on that item to return. And finally, Walmart, it's 90 days. In person, in store, same, they have a shorter return window for electronics. But those are the big companies and their policies as of now.
What about, like, Nordstrom always had, like, the best return? You don't like it, you take it back. Do retailers have their own things, too?
Definitely.
Yeah.
For example, Zara, $3.95 to return an item. JCPenney, $8. But if you go to the brick and mortar, as with most retailers, it's usually free if you're not shipping it back to them. The other thing is loyalty programs. So DSW, which is Designer Shoe Warehouse, and H&M, if you return an item online by mail, there is a fee. But if you're a member of the loyalty program, it's free. So it really pays to look at the fine print to see if you should sign up. But again, PBP, pause before purchase.
PBP.
You know what? Up next, tips to help you save on your energy bill this summer. And later, how to protect your online privacy and avoid pitfalls. That's all ahead on Consumer Confidential. We're back with Consumer Confidential. Summer is here, and that means higher energy bills are also on the way. The good news, there are simple ways to save big on your bills.
Well, let's talk about some ways to maximize the efficiency.
I mean, I was talking about some of these places in the country on the West Coast hitting the 90s. So when's the last time you checked your air conditioning unit to see if it was clean, unclogged, right? We just let that thing go and go. It needs to be inspected. It needs to be cleaned out. Now is the time before it gets really busy and the summer kicks in. The next thing is think about your thermostat. What do you have next to the thermostat? Is there a TV next to it, a lamp? That thing is giving out heat and it's triggering your thermostat to keep the AC running longer. So make sure you move anything hot away from your thermostat. And then we talk about strategic planting. Think about your landscaping. If this is the time to put in some new trees and shrubs, what can you do to shade your air conditioning unit? Just make sure
the
you're not...
unit.
Yeah, the unit itself, right? You don't want a messy bush, though, that's going to drop things onto it. And the other thing is think about the hottest part of your house, the part that faces the south and west. If you can plant some trees that will provide shade, that's going to cut down on your AC bill by 10%. At least.
Really?
Yeah.
Landscaping.
It's a big difference, strategic landscaping.
So let's go inside now. Let's talk about some ways, some tips to keep the inside of your house a little cooler for less.
Fans are your friend. A fan uses 1/60th the amount of energy as an air conditioning unit. So use it in conjunction with your AC. And every degree that you can keep your AC above 75 degrees, you're saving another 15% on your electricity.
You mean ceiling fans?
Ceiling fans or even floor fans. Or table fans. Any kind of fan that can help move the air around. It's not going to cool the air, but it will draw the body heat away from your skin and make you feel cooler. The other thing that's very simple is to buy some caulking or weather stripping to seal any cracks that are in your walls. And then if you've got like gaps underneath your door or around your windows, get the weather stripping. It's a very inexpensive fix at the hardware store. Finally, if you can keep your blinds closed during the hottest parts of the day, you're going to reduce heat gain by 45%, 33% if you keep your drapes closed. So that's a simple one. If you want sunlight, go outside.
These things add up. I mean, between the, anyway, okay. I didn't realize this. A lot of electricity companies charge different rates for peak use hours.
They really do, and it depends on where you live and the season. So you want to look that up on your energy company's website or give them a call. Generally, between 2 and 6 is when you want to avoid using your large appliances, your dishwasher, your washer and dryer. Use it after 6 p.m. or on the weekends. The other thing we don't think about, unplug those little appliances, the chargers, everything that you have plugged in that you don't use.
Vampire devices?
Yes, because they're slowly sucking the juice out of the electricity system and causing your electric bill to go up. Those incandescent bulbs, think about how many light bulbs you have in your house, lamps in the ceiling. Switch everything to LED. Not only does an LED bulb last 25,000 hours compared to just 1,200 hours for an incandescent bulb, but those older bulbs, they're just emitting heat, which also makes your house hotter. And they cost 3 times as much to run.
All right, so switch to LED. I didn't realize this. Our water heaters in our homes are responsible for like 1/5 of our bill?
Yeah, 18% of your annual energy bill comes from your water heater. I was going to ask you, Craig, from the last time. You remember what degree you're supposed to set it at?
And I didn't know then.
I've never even looked at ours.
But you do now, 120 degrees.
I was going to say 120 degrees.
Perfect, right on the money. You learned something from the last segment. So the Consumer Product Safety Commission says not only is this safer, it's going to prevent anybody from being scalded by hot water, but it's more energy efficient. The other thing, only run a full load of laundry. I'm sure we know this by now. And use cold water unless you have really heavily soiled clothes. The last part is use the sun. At least start drying some of your clothes outside. And maybe if you don't like how crispy they get, throw them in the dryer for the last 5 or 10 minutes to fluff them back up. But use the sun, use the outdoors to help you.
All these things to help. So you know with the credit cards, for example, you'll say, just call, just ask for a discount. Apparently with this, maybe you can try that.
Is that true?
Always ask for a discount, no matter where you are, in what situation. No, and this is the thing. Your energy provider has programs to help you with income, and also folks with disabilities can qualify for some of these programs. The other thing is a lot of companies want to encourage you to weatherize your home, install Energy Star appliances. We bought some light bulbs through Con Ed, which is here in New York, and the light bulbs were like 25 cents each. So there are programs that can save you up to $500 or more on your energy bill.
Vicky Nguyen.
I know.
Great tips.
Save almost 30%.
She's like an encyclopedia.
We'll take it. Thank you, Vicky.
Thanks, Vic.
Coming up, what you need to know to make it harder for advertisers to track you online, plus how to cut down on subscriptions and save more money. We're back right after this. Welcome back to Consumer Confidential. Give up your email and get a discount. Well, it sounds simple, but did you know your email is a valuable key to unlocking a lot of personal information? Here's what you should consider before sharing that email.
This is a common sight on most websites. Pop-up windows asking you to enter your email address to get a discount. But it might not be worth it. Your email connects companies to a treasure trove of information that can stretch back decades. What you read, where you shop, your age, marital status, sexual orientation, medical history, income, even where you've traveled and lived, all pieces of information that come together to reveal your personal profile.
I've had my email longer than I've had my phone number. And that's a reality for a lot of folks.
Patrick Jackson is a cybersecurity expert with Disconnect, an online privacy company.
Your email address is a lot more valuable than probably people think it is. It may contain your first and last name, your birthday, who you work for, what school you go to.
He says as Apple and Google add more ways for you to block apps from tracking you, and as more consumers say no to cookies, not those cookies, these cookies, advertisers and brands are now asking you directly for your email.
It's something that consumers really don't understand, that this is really the glue that connects all these pieces of information together.
And when you open an email, that can give advertisers even more info about you. Jackson showed me how it works in real time. Okay, so I got an email that says shoe sale. Is that for me?
Yep, that's for you.
All right, I'm going to open it. He hit a tracker in this banner advertisement, and the moment I open it, he learns a lot about me.
Just from you opening this email, I can get your location, which is New York, New York. You're connecting from an iPhone. You're using the Outlook app on your device, the time when you open it, and if you opened it again.
Why should I care that you know all that about me?
It's not clear that it's happening. It creates this beast that we no longer have control over once this data is collected.
And where does all that data go? Patrick says it often ends up with so-called data brokers that might collect and sell it to people like Michael Preem, the CEO of Modern Impact, an advertising agency that helps brands target their customers. Preem says some of this data collection helps consumers by giving them a better online experience. What's the benefit to the consumer?
The benefit to the consumer is actually receiving ads that enrich or create a better digital experience. There's no way to remove all advertising from our digital ecosystem.
But Preem also advocates for consumer privacy and enforcement of privacy laws.
The balance then for brands is making sure that they don't breach our privacy, where they don't come across as stalkerish.
Do you think there's a world where you can have both? A consumer can protect their data and have their privacy and still have ads and an experience online that is relevant to them?
I sure hope so. While it's not perfect, I think the goal for many smart advertising brands are to continue to enrich that experience, not to hijack it.
And it's not just your email, but your phone number too. That allows businesses to text you and target you for ads. And the more your phone number is out there, the greater a chance it could be part of a data breach, which would make you a bigger target for robocalls and spam texts. And just like mailing lists, it can also be hard to keep track of monthly subscriptions. Those can easily add up. But there are some simple steps you can take to trim down your expenses.
We all have that list of subscriptions we're paying for, from TV and music streaming to meal plans and fitness apps.
HBO Max and Netflix and Hulu, Spotify, I think gym memberships.
Charged automatically each month, whether we remember them or not. And as the Wall Street Journal recently reported, they add up. In a 2022 survey, respondents estimated they spent $86 a month on subscriptions. The actual average amount, $219. And it was far more for Lakeisha Mosley.
The pandemic really put us all financially in a tizzy. And so I was going through trying to establish a budget.
She found a plethora of forgotten subscriptions.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm paying for this and I'm paying for that.
Including a recurring Class Pass membership that was costing her about $1,000 a year.
I could count on one hand the time I signed in, maybe once or twice.
Mosley added up over $700 a month in subscription charges. She ended up canceling more than half. Subscribers like her are saying enough is enough. Cancellations for Netflix, Hulu, HBO Max, and others rose about 50% in 2022 from the previous year. Are subscriptions one of those easy things to forget about because they're automatic?
Absolutely. Your subscriptions are so often, they're small amounts, so sometimes we forget about them. $5, $6, $12 a month.
And a proposed rule from the Federal Trade Commission would crack down on companies, ordering them to make it as easy to cancel as it was to sign up.
They need to tell you how long the trial period goes for, clearly have to tell you by when you have to cancel.
The FTC plan is now up for public comment. Meanwhile, there are a variety of apps that can help you keep track of expenses and flag subscriptions you may have forgotten.
I realized I was paying for 2 Netflix accounts and 2 Spotify accounts.
Dustin Hensley used the app Rocket Money to identify duplicate payments and a mystery $300 annual charge that he got refunded.
What advice would you give to other consumers, having gone through your experience?
Pay attention. You get nickel and dimes. It's death by 1,000 cuts.
If you don't want to use another app to track your subscriptions, you can streamline your payments so they are easier to track. For example, use your most used credit or debit card and set up alerts on your phone for when those charges hit. Then you'll see that. You'll be reminded that you are still paying for subscriptions. Still to come, staging your home can pay off, getting it off the market quicker and at the price you're asking for or even more. Next, the tricks to make your house a hot property when Consumer Confidential returns. Welcome back. It is a tricky market for home buyers and sellers right now, with high mortgage rates causing a dip in sales. But staging your home can make all the difference, and the right changes can even get your home sold above asking price. The best part? You don't have to spend a fortune.
All the world's a stage, including your home when it's time to sell. With existing home sales down nearly 23% from last year, some homeowners now opting to set the scene for potential buyers, giving their spaces a mini makeover before putting them on the market.
We staged the main living areas. We also repainted a lot of walls, but more importantly, massively decluttered the house.
From a fresh coat of paint and unobstructed windows to updated furniture and floor coverings. A recent survey finding 81% of buyers' agents said staging made it easier for a buyer to visualize a property as their future home.
We sort of have to move the seller out a little bit in order to help the buyer feel like they can move in.
Stacy Esser, a real estate agent in New Jersey who runs her own staging company, says most homes don't need a full renovation to attract buyers. Small changes can welcome a big return. Sellers spending an average of $400 to $600 on staging.
You've seen it time and again that when you put in a little investment up front, that increases the sales price of the home?
Yeah, you will actually sell your house for more money every single time.
Esser says staged homes also sell faster. This listing under contract in one weekend for $126,000 above the asking price. And when the average home spent 160 days on the market in his neighborhood, the owner of this home, staged by Esser, says he accepted an offer in less than a month.
What is today's buyer looking for?
So today's buyer is looking for more flexible spaces, open floor plans, great storage, work at home, places they can work out, and more informal family time spaces.
Esser says wherever the eye rests, the sale begins. You really want to help a buyer envision themselves in that space.
The most important rooms to stage: the living room, the primary bedroom, and the kitchen.
So this is a house coming on the market actually this weekend.
Esser taking us on a tour of this home's dramatic before and after.
One of the things that we start with is always to take any heavy window treatments off and to really just let that sunshine in.
This would-be formal living room recently painted a neutral color ahead of its transformation into a more casual, flexible space.
Tell me what you did in here.
So first of all, I think what we did is we just made the room feel a lot larger and created multiple seating areas in this really large space.
What can you do in the kitchen to tidy it up and make it more appealing to buyers?
So one of the easiest things we can do is basically help a seller declutter a kitchen.
Esser's recipe for a market-ready kitchen: clear the counters, swap out bulky furniture, and accessorize with pops of color using items you already have in your fridge or pantry.
You really jazzed up the kitchen.
Yeah, we totally did. It's inexpensive and anybody could do this. These are actual just vegetables. And we like to use this cookbook to make it feel like somebody was just here cooking.
And just switching out the table made a big difference.
Combine the round table with the pop of white and it really lightens up the space.
And upstairs, Esser's team reverting this den back into a kid's bedroom.
Bedrooms help sell houses.
When it comes to staging, it's not just what's on the inside that counts.
First impressions matter too. Don't forget about the outside. Make sure your home has curb appeal.
There should be flowers planted outside. People should trim their hedges. People should make sure that their lawns are taken care of.
Simple touches to help prepare your home for showtime.
Esser says the best time to sell is when interest rates go down. She encourages you, if you are thinking about selling, to start your decluttering process now. For example, take down the family photos like this. See how much cleaner and clearer it looks? Next, you're going to want to remove any drapes to allow some more natural light to shine into those windows. It makes a big difference. And if you have a busy wallpaper, you want to change that to a neutral color, maybe paint it to liven up and clear out your home. This is all going to help interested buyers imagine themselves living in your space. That's our time for now. Thanks so much for watching. For all of us at NBC News, I'm Vicky Nguyen.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.